What if the only thing standing between you and true happiness is courage? Courage to let go of your past. Stop worrying about what others think and truly live life on your terms. Most of us feel stuck, trapped by self-doubt, held back by the weight of expectations, or endlessly chasing approval. But what if there's a way to break free from all of that? Today, we're diving into a powerful book that's been changing lives worldwide. The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. Let me tell you a little about the authors. Ichiro Kishimi is a philosopher and psychologist specializing in Adlerian psychology, a revolutionary approach to understanding human behavior and personal freedom. Co-author Fumitake Koga is a writer with a gift for taking complex ideas and turning them into stories we can all relate to. Together, they've created something truly special. A book that's not just thought-provoking but incredibly practical. The Courage to be Disliked is about freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from living authentically without fear of judgment or regret. The book is written as a conversation between two people, a philosopher and a young man. Through their dialogue, you'll see big ideas come to life in a way that feels personal and easy to understand. You'll learn how to break free from the limitations of your past, let go of the need to be liked by everyone, and take control of your happiness, starting right now. This isn't just another self-help book. It's a blueprint for living with courage, clarity, and confidence. Whether you're looking to strengthen your relationships, build self-esteem, or simply feel more at peace with yourself, this book has something to offer. So, are you ready to unlock the courage to be disliked? Let's start this journey together. Chapter 1. Deny Trauma. What if I told you that your past doesn't define your future? Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I'm this way because of what happened to me"? It's such a common way of thinking, isn't it? But here's the thing. It's not true. One of the boldest ideas in The Courage to be Disliked is that trauma and your past experiences don't have to control your life. Sure, what happened to you is real. It matters. But it doesn't decide who you are today or who you can become. The authors make a powerful point. It's not your experiences that hold you back. It's the meaning you attach to them. Let's unpack that. Imagine two people go through the same hardship. Let's say they both face rejection growing up. One person might use that experience to grow stronger, deciding they'll live a life where they embrace and uplift others. The other person might use it as an excuse, saying, "I'll never succeed because I wasn't supported." What's the difference? It's not the past. It's the choices they make now. This idea is so freeing when you think about it. Your past doesn't have the power to define you unless you let it. The philosopher in the book compares it to driving a car. The rearview mirror is useful. You glance at it to understand where you've been. But if you stare at it for too long, you're going to crash. The windshield, the road ahead, that's where your focus needs to be. Now, let's get to the practical stuff. How do you stop letting the past control your present? The book offers 3 really simple but powerful steps. First, take responsibility for your choices. This one might sting a little. It's easy to blame your circumstances or your past for the way you act. But here's the truth. When you say, "I'm like this because of what happened to me," you're giving up control. What if instead you said, "I'm choosing to act this way"? That shift in thinking might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's empowering. It puts the control back in your hands. Second, set goals based on the future, not the past. Most of us look at our past mistakes or failures and let them dictate what we believe we can achieve. But here's a better way to think about it. Forget what went wrong. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like? Your future doesn't care about your past. It's shaped by what you do today. And third, rewrite the story you tell yourself. We all have that inner dialogue running through our heads. If your story is, "I'll never be happy because of what happened to me," it's time to change the script. Start small. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I'm trying." Instead of, "I'll never," say, "I'm working on it." Those little shifts can create huge changes over time. Here's the bottom line. You are not a victim of your past. You're the author of your future. So, let me leave you with a question. What's one thing you can do today? Just one small step that will move you closer to the life you want? Because the truth is, your past only holds as much power as you give it. Your future? That's entirely up to you. Chapter 2. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. In the first chapter, we talked about how our past doesn't have to define us. We have the power to choose how we live today, regardless of what's happened in our past. But as we move forward, there's one major area of life that consistently challenges us: relationships. Now, let's dive into how most of our struggles stem from the relationships we have with others, and how shifting our approach to these relationships can help us find greater peace. In this chapter, the courage to be disliked makes a big claim. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. It sounds simple, but the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Let me explain. A lot of us spend our time focusing on the things we're dealing with personally: our career, our health, or maybe even our past trauma. But when you dig deeper, you'll often find that the root of those struggles is tied to the way we relate to the people around us. Think about it for a second. How many times have you been stressed because of something a coworker said? Or maybe a friend didn't get what you were going through? We get upset, not necessarily because of what's happening to us directly, but because we're trying to manage how others perceive us, or we're caught in a cycle of comparison. And that brings us to the next big point. Comparing yourself to others only makes things worse. We've all done it. Looking at someone else's life, their achievements, their relationships, and thinking, why don't I have that? What am I doing wrong? It's so easy to get caught up in this trap of competition and jealousy. But here's the catch. It doesn't help. It only adds more pressure and unhappiness to your life. When you're busy comparing yourself to someone else, you're giving away your peace. The truth is that everyone is on their own unique path, and comparing journeys will only leave you feeling inadequate. The only person you need to measure up to is yourself. Now, let's talk about something that can change everything: separating tasks. In the book, there's a powerful idea about focusing on your responsibilities, not other people's opinions or judgments. This is where the concept of task separation comes in. You have your tasks, and other people have theirs. This simple principle can help you stop worrying about what others think of you and focus on what's within your control. For example, if someone criticizes you, instead of immediately defending yourself or feeling bad, ask yourself, is this my task to solve? If their judgment or opinion is about them, not you, then it's not your responsibility. Let it go. You don't have to carry the burden of their expectations. It's not always easy. It takes practice. But once you start learning how to separate what's yours to handle and what's theirs, you'll feel a sense of freedom. It's like taking off a heavy backpack full of other people's judgments and letting yourself breathe for once. So, here's the takeaway from this chapter. Most of the challenges we face come from the relationships we have with others, yes, but also with ourselves. If we can learn to stop comparing ourselves to others and focus only on our tasks, we can start to find peace. Remember, your responsibility is to live your life on your terms, not to please or compete with others. And as you go about your day, ask yourself this: what's my task and what's someone else's? Separate them, and you might just find a little more freedom and a lot more peace in your life. Chapter 3. Discard other people's expectations. So, we explored how many of our struggles come from how we relate to others, and how comparing ourselves or trying to control what others think can hold us back. But here's the thing. There's something even more powerful that keeps us stuck in these patterns, and that's the need for approval. Now, let's take a closer look at how the need for approval traps us and what we can do to break free from the expectations of others. This chapter is all about discarding other people's expectations. It's a powerful idea because the truth is that we often live our lives trying to meet the expectations of those around us, whether it's our parents, friends, colleagues, or society at large. We try so hard to be liked, to be accepted, to fit in. But in doing so, we end up losing sight of our own values and desires. The book explains that the need for approval traps us in a cycle of constantly trying to please others. It's exhausting, right? We bend over backward, trying to get validation from the outside world. But what ends up happening? We end up feeling empty because we're not living for ourselves. We're living for someone else's idea of who we should be. True freedom doesn't come from trying to meet everyone else's expectations. It comes from living a life aligned with your values, not what others think you should do, but what truly matters to you. The courage to be disliked is key to this kind of freedom. It's about the courage to live authentically, even if it means stepping outside of the box others expect you to stay in. It's about saying, I'm okay with not pleasing everyone. I'm okay with living my truth. This is where the real shift happens. When you stop caring so much about what other people think, you create space for your voice to be heard. You get to design a life that's true to who you are, not who others want you to be. And that, my friend, is where the magic happens. So, as we wrap up this chapter, here's the core takeaway. Let go of the need for external validation. Start living your life on your terms, based on what you truly value. And, as scary as it might seem, give yourself permission to be disliked, because that's where your authentic happiness begins. Chapter 4. Live in the moment. Now that we've looked at how freeing ourselves from other people's expectations can lead us to authentic happiness, let's take it one step further. Because, in the end, all of that is only useful if we learn how to live in the present moment. So, what does it really mean to live in the moment? And why is this such a big deal when it comes to our happiness? You see, too many of us spend our time chasing happiness like it's a destination we have to reach. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that promotion. Or, I'll be happy once I finish this project. Or even, I'll be happy once I lose those extra pounds. But here's the thing. Happiness isn't something you can chase down and catch. It's not a future goal or something that you earn by achieving. Happiness is something to experience in the present. It's a state of mind, and it's available to us right here, right now. If we let go of the idea that it's somewhere out there, in this chapter, the book points out that many of us are stuck in this cycle of future-oriented thinking. We think we need to achieve something, whether that's a goal, an accomplishment, or an outcome, in order to be happy. But this can lead us to overlook the simple joys of life that are happening right in front of us. Imagine this for a moment. You're so focused on reaching your goal that you forget to enjoy the journey. You're constantly looking at the finish line, but the race itself becomes a blur. When we focus too much on results, we miss out on the beauty of the process, the small steps, the learning, the growth, and the everyday moments that make life rich and meaningful. What if we learned to find joy in the moment, without waiting for some distant achievement? What if we could enjoy the process as much as we anticipate the outcome? That's the core message in this chapter. Stop focusing on the result and start finding joy in the process itself. One of the most fulfilling things we can do in life is to contribute to others. Whether it's helping a friend, being there for a loved one, or even offering a kind word to a stranger, contributing to others brings a sense of meaning that achievements alone can't offer. We tend to get caught up in trying to prove ourselves, don't we? Whether it's at work, in social circles, or even on social media, we're constantly trying to show the world how successful we are. But true fulfillment doesn't come from being the best or the most accomplished. It comes from building meaningful relationships, being kind, and making a positive impact on others. When we contribute to the well-being of others, whether through big acts of kindness or small gestures, we start to feel connected, purposeful, and alive. It's not about accolades or recognition. It's about real connections and the joy of sharing our lives with others. To sum up this chapter, here's what you can take away. Happiness is not something to be pursued in the future. It's something to be experienced right now. If you stop obsessing over the results and focus on enjoying the process, you'll find yourself happier and more content. And by contributing to others and building strong, meaningful relationships, you'll discover a deeper sense of fulfillment that no achievement or material success can bring. So today, ask yourself, what can I enjoy in the process? How can I shift my focus from waiting for happiness to fully experiencing it in this moment? By living in the moment, we open ourselves up to a richer, more fulfilling life. Chapter 5. Find your life's meaning. Now that we've explored living in the present and finding joy in the journey, let's dive into something that can truly transform the way we see our lives. You might be surprised to hear this, but the book argues something that might be a bit unsettling at first. Life has no inherent meaning. Yes, you heard that right. The meaning we often search for in life isn't something we find. It's something we create. Now, before you start to feel lost, let's dive into this idea a little deeper. If life doesn't have a pre-written meaning, then that means you get to choose what it means. You have the freedom to decide what makes your life significant and worth living. That's incredibly empowering, right? This is a liberating concept because it means you don't have to look for some grand purpose outside yourself. You don't need to search for a mystical, external meaning in life. Instead, you get to create your own. The key is to choose how you contribute to others and the world around you. The meaning of your life isn't determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you show up for others, how you contribute, and how you live according to your values. It's about the small, everyday actions that align with your beliefs and passions. For example, think about the people you admire. Often, it's not their wealth or status that makes them inspiring, but the way they've contributed to the lives of others. It could be their kindness, their commitment to a cause, or how they've helped others grow. These things give their lives meaning, not external achievements or recognition. What's powerful here is the realization that you're in control of your purpose. You don't need to wait for some grand event or revelation to give your life meaning. You're free to decide what's important to you and how you want to contribute to the world. That freedom is what allows you to shape a life that feels rich, meaningful, and fulfilling. And guess what? This freedom doesn't just apply to the big things. The way you approach each day, the little moments you share with others, and how you choose to show up in the world all contribute to the meaning you create for yourself. So, what does this mean for you, the listener? It means you don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to follow someone else's idea of what your life's purpose should be. Instead, you get to build it, day by day, through your choices and actions. And that's incredibly empowering. The power to create your own meaning is one of the greatest freedoms you can experience. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life. In this chapter, the takeaway is clear. You are free to create your own purpose in life. Whether through small acts of kindness or choosing how you contribute to others, your purpose is shaped by what you decide matters to you. So today, ask yourself, what meaning am I creating in my life? How can I contribute to the world around me in a way that aligns with my values? By choosing how you contribute, you shape a life that's meaningful and fulfilling. As we come to the end of our journey through the courage to be disliked, we've explored some profound insights that can truly transform the way we live our lives. From learning to embrace the present moment to freeing ourselves from the expectations of others and discovering the power to create our meaning in life. We've seen that happiness and fulfillment aren't things we chase, but experiences we create every day. Remember, life is not about finding a fixed purpose or waiting for happiness to magically appear. It's about choosing how we contribute to the world, connecting with others, and deciding what matters most to us. By freeing ourselves from the need for approval and living according to our values, we unlock the freedom to live authentically. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the courage to be disliked. I hope you feel inspired to take these lessons into your own life, to embrace the freedom of choosing your own path, and to find joy in the process of living, not just the end results. If you enjoyed this exploration and feel ready to create your own meaningful life, I encourage you to take small steps today. Start by living in the moment, contributing to others, and questioning the beliefs that hold you back. If you found this audiobook helpful, be sure to subscribe for more insights like these. And remember, the power to shape your life is in your hands. Until next time, take care and live courageously.